Hello there, grumpy old fart here. I'm doing a family game night video. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons stories. This particular story is called Adventureless. You'll see what I mean. Years ago, I had this friend named Michael, and Michael wanted to run my friends and I in a game of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and we were like, "Sure, no problem, glad to play." He said he had a great scenario worked up, and we jumped at it. We were excited. We spent an afternoon rolling up sixth level characters. My friends and I were all pretty experienced players. We knew what we were doing, and he said that he was a very experienced dungeon master, and he guaranteed us a great adventure. And there were five of us. I was running a barbarian. My friend Bill was running a thief. Dave was running a cleric, John was running a wizard, and Sam was running a fighter. And we were very excited when the second time that it was I want to say it was the next Saturday we showed up and we were ready to play. We all went over to Michael's house, and he had set up snacks and stuff, and we were excited. So we sat down to play. I had all of our stuff ready. We were good to go. And so he started us off in a fairly decent sized town. wasn't real big, but it was decent sized. But apparently it was a lazy place where there was absolutely nothing going on. We, being adventurers, you expect a start to the adventure. We walked around town. We inquired about jobs in the local saloons and the inns and the taverns and all that, because generally in Dungeons and Dragons and in most medieval type sword and sorcery games, the taverns and the inns are where people advertise for jobs. They tack up posters. They leave word with the bartender, and they pass on word, or you can hear for stuff with the town crier. This town apparently didn't have town criers, so we were looking around for jobs because our characters had. When we rolled up the characters, he made us broke. We had almost no money. We had barely enough for the basic equipment. I think my barbarian had an axe, and I want to say that was it. I didn't have enough money for just about anything else. We didn't have money for food or anything else. He kept us pretty broke. And so we needed jobs. We needed to eat. You got to eat. You got to pay rent. Let's go. Well, we didn't have enough money for rooms, so we were camping outside of town. Didn't have enough money for horses, so we couldn't ride to another town. And walking was ridiculous because of the bandits and stuff. We were inquiring at all the inns and taverns, and the bartender was like, "Oh, nobody's hiring that I'm aware of." So it was basically for the first 3 days it was murder just to find a job. But in this particular town, apparently nobody was hiring. Nobody. There were no adventuring jobs. There was nothing going on. Everything we tried to do, Michael kept shooting it down. Well, we'll start a mercenary guild. All right, your business tax is going to be this much. Oh crap, we don't have enough for that. Okay. Well, we'll try to case a house to rob. Well, you can't. You're good aligned characters. Okay. Well, yeah, it was one thing after another. We couldn't break the law because we were good guys, lawful individuals. My barbarian probably could, and I know the thief probably could, but the rest of the group wouldn't have liked it. So they were staunchly against it. There were tons of guards in this city, so they weren't hiring guards. They had tons of them. There was a big military gathering of some kind. The soldiers were camped outside of town. The officers were taking the rooms of the inns and things like that. So stealing was out of the question anyway. Even if we were morally inclined to do so. It got to the point where we were begging for jobs. As a matter of fact, the fighter actually took to holding out his little cup and begging for money. That's how bad it was. And nobody was hiring. I mean, it was ridiculous. There was nothing going on in this town. It was just one thing after another. We ended that first session as menial laborers, my character, my barbarian with a big battle axe, big hulking barbarian, was sweeping floors for a copper piece a day. That was the best job he could find. And the rest of the group had comparable stuff. Like I said, the fighter was begging. The cleric was normally a cleric can earn a little bit of money on the side performing weddings and blessings and things like that. But between his his alignment, his moral code, and the town's situation where they had a lot of clerics, he couldn't make any money doing that anyway. So he ended up going out to the military encampment outside and asking if anybody out there needed healing, but nobody was hurt. And they had their clerics in the as part of the militia anyway, so they weren't hiring. And it just little menial jobs is all we could find. My dude was he was a barbarian sweeping floors for a copper a day. Yeah. Sweeping the dust off the porches and stuff for a copper a day. That's what he was making. Yeah, that first adventure was the last one. And he kept saying, well, you can't have that. Nope, you can't do that. Nope, you can't do that. Nope, they're not going to let you do that. Oh, no, your alignment won't let you do it. It was just one thing after another. Finally, we gave up. That first session of actually playing was the last session. Because I don't care how much of a grand adventure he had lined up. If we can't find it, we can't do it. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, that didn't work out too well. He claimed to have a great adventure, but there was no beginning to the adventure. So yeah, it didn't work out too well. The only adventure we went on that amounted to anything was trying to find jobs, which is pretty much what people do in the real world. So it was not exactly exciting. The Adventureless adventure. You folks have a good day. God bless one and all.